We're going to have some changes in the American League roster. Vic Raschi is now doing the pitching for the American Leaguers. And Bertie Tebbetts has gone in to do the catching. The first man up will be Walker Cooper of the New York Giants. Raschi's record is 10-3. He's a right-hander, and his first pitch is a curved ball that breaks inside to a right-hand batter. Raschi is from Conesus, New York, 190 pounds, 6 feet 1, 28 years old. A big, husky right-hander. Low outside. Ball 2, 2-0. Cooper, his first time up, forced Pafko with a ground ball to third baseman Ken Keltner. The new battery, Raschi of New York, Tebbetts of Boston. Here it comes. There's a foul tip right into Bertie's glove, and the count is 2-1. Tebbetts is a native of Nashua, New Hampshire, and a graduate of Providence College. Eddie Dyer continues to coach at third base. His son was working out, by the way, just before the ball game, Eddie Jr. Swing and a miss. Cooper went all the way down in the batter's box as he took a savage cut at a Raschi fastball. 2-2. For the while, at least, this will be Raschi's ball game since it's a tie score. There's a ground ball that goes to Keltner. He takes it down on a big hop, guns it across to McQuinn for the out. Walker Cooper goes out, Keltner to McQuinn, third to first. Pee Wee Reese is waiting to bat. His first time up, he struck out. This is his third All-Star game. Reese is one of the most likable characters in baseball. He's from Louisville, Kentucky. He was born in Akron, Kentucky. Strike call. That was a fastball right down the middle. One man out on the top of the fourth. The National and American Leaguers tied 2-2. Raschi delivers. There's a ground ball that goes to Keltner, and he takes a vicious grounder, throws to first for the out. McQuinn came up with a nice stop on a low throw. That was one of the harder hit balls of the game. But Reese goes out. Keltner to McQuinn. Two men are out, and we now have a pinch hitter, Frank Gustine of Pittsburgh. He has a batting average of .303 for the year. He's from Hoopstown, Illinois originally, but is a Pittsburgher now. Raschi's first pitch is low and away, ball 1. This is Gustine's third All-Star game. He hasn't had a hit in 3 times at bat, but he has a season's average of .303. Raschi winds up. Low. Ball 2, 2-0. Gustine is one of the reasons why the Pittsburgh Pirates will continue to be a pennant contender this year. The pitch. Strike called. Curveball. 2-1. Currently, Pittsburgh is in second place. 5.5 games back of the Boston Braves. The outfield plays Gustine deep and slightly to the left. The infield straight away. He uses an open stance. Swing and a miss. 2-2. Raschi is a strong, powerful right-hander with a good fastball, a good curve, and a very conscientious workman. Gustine gets set for the 2-2 pitch. Strike 3, down in the dirt. Tebbetts throws to first base, and McQuinn gets the put-out on the play. It's a strikeout, but he had to be thrown out. 2-3, Tebbetts to McQuinn. So Raschi's first inning is a 1-2-3 affair. At the end of 3.5 innings, the score is National League All-Stars 2, American League All-Stars 2. In baseball slang, as you know, a fast pitch that grazes a batter's whiskers is commonly called a Gillette. Do you know, however, that fast-acting Gillette shaving creams now contain K34, an amazing facial antiseptic? K34 does what no amount of scrubbing with ordinary soap and water can do. It destroys from 85 to 99% of dangerous bacteria on and beneath outer layers of the skin. What's more, the bacteria count stays down. The protection lasts from one day's shave until the next. This means that simply by softening your whiskers with Gillette brushless or Gillette lather and enjoying a smooth, refreshing shave, you end up with the cleanest face a man can have. Not just clean looking and clean feeling, but surgically clean. Enjoy this valuable protection. Ask for Gillette brushless or Gillette lather, a quarter. The new pitcher for the National Leaguers is going to be left-handed Johnny Schmitz of the Chicago Cubs. And his record is 8-9. He will face Hoot Evers, who homered his first time up. Strike called. It's a 2-2 ball game, and just as it is Rasche's to win or lose, for the while at least, so it is Johnny Schmitz's. The pitch, inside 1-1. Vern Stevens, who ranked behind Lou Boudreau in the balloting for American League shortstop, is warming up out in the bullpen. And Bobby Doerr, his second base teammate, is warming up with him. There goes a high fly ball towards left center field. Ashburn coming in, Reese going back. Reese waves everybody away, and he got it at the last instant. But there were a few oohs and ahs before it became certain that he would make the catch. Reese went out about 75 feet from his normal deep shortstop position. So Evers pops to 6. 1 out. Ken Keltner up. His first time up, Keltner walked. He has one of 3 bases on balls that were issued by starting pitcher Ralph Branca. A right-hander. Here's the windup. Schmitz pitches. There's a ground ball that goes down the third base line, labeled perhaps for extra bases. Musial fields it quickly. Keltner rounds and has to hold on with a single. A swell throw from Musial to Shane Dean. Holds that hit to 1 base. That's the second American League hit. And with any less quick fielding on the part of Stanley Musial, it would have been an easy double. George McQuinn up. He flied to center. That's the 4th All-Star game hit for Keltner, playing in his 7th. McQuinn is a left-hander. Schmitz steps back off the rubber, and that's the signal for Keltner to go back to first. That gives Ken 1 hit and 1 trip. He walked his first time up. It's a 2-2 game in the 4th inning. Fastball low. Ball 1. The game is nearing the halfway mark, at which time there will be the customary change of umpires. 1 ball, no strikes. Outside, ball 2. That was a hook. Wide breaking curve ball. The second base combination, Shane Dienst and Reese of the Cardinals and the Dodgers, is playing in a little, hopeful of a double play. Third baseman Patko is in fairly close with a left-hander up. McQuinn waits for the pitch. There's a drive that goes into center field for a base hit. Keltner goes to second and holds up. Ashburn's throw is cut off by Reese, and the American Leaguer's third hit by George McQuinn puts runners on first and second with Bertie Tebbetts coming up. That was McQuinn's second hit in an All-Star game, and this is his 3rd All-Star contest. So again, the American Leaguers have the tie-breaking run on second base. Bertie Tebbetts' batting average is .286, and this is his 2nd All-Star game. In his last All-Star game, he went to bat 4 times, no hits. George uses an open stance slightly, bends his knees, and looks at one inside for ball 1. Keltner on second, McQuinn on first. Schmitz is having less luck in his first inning than Branca did in his. The game is tied 2-2. Here it comes. Inside. Ball 2, 2-0. Keltner goes back and tags up at second in routine fashion. Red Schoendienst is playing fairly deep at second base. And Johnny Sain of the Boston Braves is warming up again. The stretch. Here it comes. Inside, 3-0. Schmitz has been pitching tightly to Bertie Tebbetts. Too close to the fist. Dorr and Stevens have both finished their warm-ups and have come back to the dugout. 3-0. Tebbetts is in a position now of waiting for one of the good ones that Johnny Schmitz must throw to avoid walking him. Here it is. Way outside. The bases are loaded. That's the fourth base on balls given the American Leaguers. And in a sense, that has been partially the undoing of the National League, because it has cost them their initial 2-0 and then 2-1 lead. The score is tied 2-2. The bases are filled, and Vic Raschi is the batter. Raschi is very workmanlike. He gives you the impression of quiet, modest, confident efficiency when he steps into the batter's box. Pee Wee Reese just had a word with Johnny Schmitz. They're opponents every other day of the year, but not today when the National League gets together in an attempt to upset the American League apple cart. There's a drive to left field for a base hit. It's 3-2 American League, and here comes another run to the plate. The throw is not in time. It's 4-2 with runners on first and third as Raschi upsets the dope and drives in 2 runs. Raschi, after swinging and missing 2 curveballs, found a pitch to his liking, singled sharply to left field, scoring Keltner and McQuinn and sending Tebbetts to third. Pat Mullen is being lifted for Joe DiMaggio. Eddie Dyer is coming out, and that may be the signal for the replacement of Johnny Schmitz with Johnny Sain, right-hander of the Boston Braves. There's the announcement, and that is the signal for a fresh burst of applause. And Johnny Sain is being called in for the National Leaguers. After hitting a line drive foul and then taking another ball, Raschi straightened out that foul ball that he had hit previously and hit a sharp line drive right over the head of third baseman Andy Pafko. Now there's a neat little mound of National Leaguers out on the mound. Red Schoendienst and Johnny Mize are the only two who are not currently sharing in it. Reese comes strolling down off the edge, and John Sain is coming in from the bullpen. Sain has an 11-6 record for the Boston Braves. And this is all happening in the last half of the fourth inning. Sain has been in one previous All-Star game, and he was the losing pitcher, you'll recall, last year. In one inning, he allowed 1 earned run, 2 hits, struck out 1, but he was charged with a defeat. This is the 9th active appearance in an All-Star game uniform for Joe DiMaggio. He was chosen 10 times, but did not appear 1 time. This, of course, is his 10th season in baseball. He has been chosen every time. Johnny Schmitz has fared the worst of all the pitchers in the contest so far because there's just 1 man out, and the last 4 have reached. He got Hoot Evers on a pop-up. He quieted that home run bat of his. But then Keltner banged a single to left field. McQuinn followed with a single through the middle. Bertie Tebbetts got a base on balls. And then Vic Raschi hit a 2-2 pitch into left field to score Keltner from third base, McQuinn from second base, and send Bertie Tebbetts all the way around to third. This is the kind of a day, incidentally, when a pitcher needs no jacket at first base. What he really would like, in all probability, is a nice air cooling system that could be installed in his uniform to cool him down as he runs around. Joe DiMaggio Get sets. The big fellow has a .302 batting average for the season so far. He has a .219 All-Star game average, 7 hits, and 1 home run. He's driven in 2 runs previously. He's suffering from sore heels and sore knees, so could not see a 2 active service. Johnny Sane broke his position on the mound, and Walker Cooper is going out to have a chat with him. Even though he is not at his physical peak, Joe DiMaggio is a frightening picture for almost any pitcher to contemplate. Far and away one of the great baseball players of all time. And he comes from a distinguished San Francisco baseball playing family. He stands straight away, erect in the box, waits for Sane's pitch. And there's a drive to left field. Tagging up at third base is Tebbetts. Musial makes the play, and run number 5 scores. It was a line drive that was hit to left field, so the big fellow has driven in his 3rd All-Star run. And the American Leaguers have taken a 5-2 lead. Two men out. Tommy Henrich up. All 3 of those runs were charged to Johnny Schmitz in 1/3 of an inning. Tommy Henrich has struck out twice. DiMaggio is applauded as he goes back to the dugout, and now he can head for the showers. There's a drive down the right field line that is going to be close to fair territory. Foul ball. Enos Slaughter ran into one of the grounds crewmen who didn't get out of the way quickly enough. And as Slaughter put his arms around him, I think the gentleman served as sort of a bumper for him. I'm certain that he was considerably softer than that concrete wall. 1 strike. Rashi was well around second base on his way to third. The ball was foul by about 3 feet. Junior Stevens is in the on-deck circle to bat for Lou Boudreau. Henrich is a left-hander, and he hits a high pop-up. Pee Wee Reese is calling for it out on the skin of the infield to the left of second. He takes it, and that ends the inning. And it was a big inning, too, as Henrich popped up to Pee Wee Reese to end it. The American Leaguers came up with 3 runs in that frame on only 3 hits. There were no errors, 1 base on balls, the 4th, and there was just the 1 runner left. So, at the end of 4 innings of play, the American Leaguers have 5 runs, 4 hits, no errors, 3 runners left. The National Leaguers have 2 runs, 5 hits, no errors, and 4 runners left. Change in the American League lineup at the moment. At shortstop, Junior Stevens of the Boston Red Sox in place of Lou Boudreau. Bobby Doerr of the Boston Red Sox in place of Joe Gordon. And there will have to be a replacement in right field. Al Zarilla of the St. Louis Browns in place of Pat Mullen of the Detroit Tigers. Those 3 replacements swell to a total of 5, the American League replacements of the past inning. The American League batting order now: Zarilla, right field; Henrich, left field; Stevens, shortstop; Doerr, second base; Evers in center; Keltner at third; McQuinn still at first; Tebbetts catching; and Vic Rashi of the Yankees doing the pitching. The public address system announcer is acquainting the fans here at Sportsman Park with a number of changes. And out in right field, 4 National Leaguers are beginning to warm up. Not pitchers. Bob Elliott is one of them, and they will doubtless go to other positions. Phil Macy, a catcher, is one of them. But meanwhile, Richie Ashburn, with 1 hit and 2 trips, leads off in the 5th. Rashi's first pitch is right over the plate for a called strike. Curveball. Rashi pitches. Strike two. A called curveball. The American League leads 5-2 at the end of 4 innings of play. Clyde McCullough is another of the National Leaguers warming up. Buddy Kerr of the Giants is the other. The windup. High. 1 ball, 2 strikes the count. Eddie Dyer still coaching at third base, and Mel Ott doing the coaching at first base for the National Leaguers. The outfield is playing Ashburn a little to the left. There's a ground ball that goes to center field for a base hit. It went by Junior Stevens as he streaked over to try to knock it down, and Ashburn gets his second hit. That is the 6th hit for the National Leaguers. A single to center by little Richie Ashburn of the Philadelphia Phils, one of the rookie sensations of the year. Shane Dietz, the second baseman up. He has grounded to first and fouled to first. A left-hander. There's a ground ball that goes foul down the right field line. And Buddy Kerr of the Giants turns around and fields that one. Flips it back to first base umpire Bill Stewart. 1 strike to count. The pitch, inside, a fastball that made Shane Dietz lean away from it. Stan Musial has driven in both National League runs with a 2-run homer. He and Ashburn have 2 hits each. Shane Dietz is looking for his first one. Curveball outside. Rashi seemed to lose control of that slow one, and the count is 2-1. No American leaguer has a total of 2 hits as yet. As a matter of fact, the American League run total exceeds its hit total. 5 runs, 4 hits. The pitch. There goes a high fly ball toward right center field. Zarilla comes in for it, and he makes the catch with Evers looking on. Right fielder Al Zarilla has taken Shane Dietz' fly ball, and here's Stan Musial again. And the National League fans are hopeful that he will repeat. Hal Newhouser ran out to the bullpen in left field for the American Leaguers, but probably to take a message. Here's the pitch. Outside, ball 1. Musial has a 2-run home run and a single to center, 2 out of 2. Bob Lemon of Cleveland is warming up for the American Leaguers. Brashy takes a stretch. There goes a long, high fly ball to right field. Zarilla is running over, and it is a foul ball into the stands. That would not have been a home run because the screen stretches all the way over. Had it been in fair territory, it would have been as many bases as Musial could have made. The American League still clings to its 5-2 lead on the basis of that 3-run rally in the 4th inning, in which Vic Rashi swung the big bat. The count 1-1 on Musial. 1 out, 1 on. Strike called. Rashi slow curved him. One ball, 2 strikes to count. Johnny Shuley is warming up Bob Lemon of no-hit, no-run fame. Musial crouches, swings and misses. Strike 3. Pulled the string and threw a slow curveball that broke right down in the dirt. That is the 3rd National League strikeout. That's the first time Musial's big bat has been silenced. Johnny Mize up. Johnny hit a home run in last year's game. He has 1 hit and 2 trips in this. He singled through the middle in the 1st inning, and in the 3rd inning, his roller to Joe Gordon forced Musial. He's a big left-hander. The outfield moves deep. Outside, ball 1. Ashburn, in 2 leadoff capacities, has reached base safely, each time with hits. The National Leaguers are trying to overcome that 3-run deficit. The pitch. There's a ground ball that goes to Bobby Dorr. Dorr makes the play to first base. McQuinn takes it, and that's all for the National Leaguers in the 5th inning as Mize goes out second to first. No runs, 1 hit, no errors, 1 runner left. And at the end of 4.5 innings of play, the score is American Leaguers 5, National Leaguers 2. While the fame of his immortal achievement grows with each passing year, no one knows the pitcher who struck out the mighty Casey. Just about everybody, on the other hand, can name the razor that fans out tough whiskers with the greatest ease and dispatch. Yes, you're right. It's the improved Gillette Super Speed razor that changes blades instantly. This razor has a notched positioning bar for use with the Gillette dispenser. Hook on a blade and it drops in place presto. Twist the handle and the razor closes. To clean, loosen the holder, rinse, and shake. Convenient? You said it. What's more, you get shaves that are shaves. Clean, smooth, and oh so refreshing. No, it doesn't take a locksmith to make this razor work. Ask for the improved Gillette Super Speed razor with 10-blade dispenser, a big $1.50 value for only $1. And now, for the 4th time as an All-Star Game colleague, it is a privilege again to bring in Mel Allen, the popular broadcaster of the New York Yankees, whose voice you have heard many times on Gillette's All-Star and World Series broadcasts. Mel?
Hello there, everybody, once again. And before we get into action here in the last half of the 5th inning, with the American League leading by a score of 5-2, we see the whip, Ewell Blackwell, walking down to the National League bullpen. We have 2 changes in the National League defensive lineup. Bob Elliott has taken over at third base of the Boston Braves. Buddy Kerr of the New York Giants is at short. Red Shanedean still at second. Johnny Mize at first. Stan Musial still in left. Rick G. Ashburn in center. Enos Slaughter in right. And back of the plate, Phil Macy of the Boston Braves has replaced Walker Cooper. So those are your lineup changes, plus the umpire switch with Beans Reardon, who was umpiring at third base, taking over back of the plate, and Charlie Barry of the American League, who was back of the plate, taking over at third with the switch between first and second bases, which we'll pick up in a moment. Junior Stevens leading off, takes a curveball. It's over that outside corner for a called strike. Stevens went in to replace Lou Boudreau at shortstop, hitting .300 on the season. Junior is a right-hand hitter, knows this ballpark very well, used to play with the St. Louis Browns. Johnny Sain, the right-hander, throws a fastball, swung on and missed. Strike 2. This is Stevens' 4th appearance in an All-Star Classic. He's had 4 out of 10 for a batting average of .400. Joe Paparella is umpiring at first base now, and Bill Stewart at second as they switch too. So it's the National League umpire back to the plate right now. Johnny Sain's 2-strike pitch to Stevens. The curveball's over there for call strike 3. A beautiful hook that sailed right over that outside corner just below the shoulders. So Vern Stevens strikes out as we come into the last half of the 5th inning with the American League leading 5-2. That's the first strikeout recorded by Johnny Sain, and the 4th recorded by National League pitchers as starter Ralph Branco whipped 3 of the American Leaguers. Bobby Dorr, right-hand hitter up, takes high, ball 1. Bobby Dorr replaced Joe Gordon at second base. For Bobby Dorr, this is his 6th All-Star game. He's had 3 hits and 14 times at bat in previous classics. Holds that bat high off his right shoulder. In comes the pitch. Curveballs outside. Ball 2. 2 balls, no strikes. The score, the American League 5, the National League 2. The outfield playing Bobby Dorr over toward left. He's a pull hitter. He employs a wide-open stance. The infield shaded around toward third, and there was a hint of thunder, I believe. In comes the pitch now to Bobby Dorr. He takes strike called. That was a fastball over that outside corner, about letter high. It's a 2-1 count on Bobby Dorr. Johnny Sain, the 3rd pitcher, employed by Leo DeRocha this afternoon. Sain in a relief role, relieving Johnny Schmitz. Here's the pitch. It's in there for called strike 2. Bobby started to swing, held up, but the pitch was in there anyway, sweeping curve. Johnny Schmitz was scheduled to have worked the middle 3 innings, the 4th, 5th, and 6th. He took over from Branca, who had worked the first 3 innings, giving up 2 runs and 1 hit. But Schmitz was knocked out of there in the 4th inning, and Sain came on to put out the fire. Now the pitch is swung on and missed. Beautiful curveball that Bobby Dorr swung at and missed, and it's strike 3. And Johnny Sain records his 2nd successive strikeout, and that's the 5th American Leaguer to go down on strikes today. Now coming up is Hoot Evers of the Detroit Tigers, who hit a home run in the 2nd inning to give the American League its first run. Popped out to short his last time up. The outfield playing him to pull. Infield shaded around toward third. Johnny Sane delivers over the outside corner for a called strike. And the big Boston Brave right-hander is showing some of the neatest pitching of the afternoon thus far. The American League out in front 5-2, last half of the fifth inning. Johnny Reddy delivers. Pitch that's just outside for a ball. Hoot Evers started off at it, held up, and plate umpire Beans Reardon called it a ball, and the count is 1-1. 1 ball, 1 strike, 2 outs, nobody on. Last half of the fifth inning, 5-2, favor the American League. The right-hander delivers. Here's a fastball that's over that outside corner for called strike 2. Johnny Sane, who was charged with the defeat in the 1947 All-Star game, coming on to do some wonderful pitching thus far. Bob Elliott at third, close to that line, halfway back. Sane ready. Here's the 1-2 pitch to Hoot Evers. Curveball's in there for called strike 3, and he strikes out the side. Johnny Sane strikes out the side in the last half of the fifth inning for one of the highlights of this 15th annual All-Star game this afternoon. And at the end of 5 innings of play, the score remains the American League 5, the National League 2. The American League 5-inning totals 5 runs, 4 hits, no errors, 3 left on. The National League 2 runs, 6 hits, no errors, and 5 men left on base. Before we go into the top half of the sixth inning, ladies and gentlemen, we pause for station identification. This is the Mutual Broadcasting System. This is Mel Allen with Jim Britt and Franz Locke speaking to you once again from Sportsman's Park in St. Louis, Missouri, site of the 15th annual Major League All-Star game. The sun is shining brightly. We're ready to move into the top half of the sixth inning with the American League leading by a score of 5-2. Celebrities galore from among the Major League Baseball executives here. As we sweep around very rapidly, we can see Mr. Ford Frick and Mr. Will Harridge, the National American League presidents. Mr. Bill Beck and Hank Greenberg of the Cleveland Indians, Dan Topping, and George Weiss of the New York Yankees, Joe Cronin of the Boston Red Sox. And now we're ready for the sixth inning. Enos Slaughter takes a pitch in there for a called strike. Top half of the sixth. Slaughter walked and singled in his 2 previous appearances. Left-hand batter. Vic Raschi, a right-hander, throws. Pitch, fastball, inside. And the count is 1-1. Kenny Keltner's at third, in on the grass in the event of a bunt. Junior Stevens at short. Bobby Dorr second. George McQuinn first. Henrik is in left. Evers in center. Zarilla in right. In comes the pitch. And it's right down the middle. A fastball for called strike 2. Eddie Dyer coaching at third base. Mel Ott coaching at first. Joe Coleman of the Philadelphia Athletics, a right-hander, warming up in the bullpen with Yogi Berra catching him for the American League. 1 ball, 2 strikes, the count on Slaughter. They play him to pull to right. Vic Raschi delivers. Slaughter swings and sends a little dribbler out to the mound. Raschi comes in, fields the ball near the first baseline, throws over to McQuinn in time, and there's 1 away for the National League in the first half of the sixth inning. Slaughter topping the pitch, sending little dribbler out toward the mound, which Raschi converted into the putout by way of George McQuinn. And now we have Bob Elliott stepping in to hit for the first time in the ball game, having replaced Andy Pafko at third base. Member of the Boston Braves, a right-hand hitter. Won the Most Valuable Player award of the National League in 1947. Elliott has been in 3 All-Star games with a batting average of 200. Right-hand batter, the pitch. Curveball way outside for ball 1. Bob's had 1 out of 5 in All-Star game competition. The score, American League 5, the National League 2, first half of the sixth inning. Outfield playing him to pull. Around toward left. Raschi delivers. Fastball is just off that outside corner. Just missed it for ball 2. Vic Raschi came on to do the pitching for the American League after Walt Masterson had hurled the first 3 innings, walking 1, striking out 1, giving up 5 hits and 2 runs. Raschi struck out 2 thus far and has given up 1 hit. Hasn't issued any passes. It was a year ago that Frank Shea got credit for the American League victory. In comes the pitch. Swung on, lined solidly into the hole between third and short out in the left field for a base hit. Henrik comes up with the ball on a high bounce, throws on into second, and Elliott is on with a line single to left for the 7th hit of the afternoon for the National League. Coming up to bat now, another member of the Boston Braves, Phil Macy, who replaced Walker Cooper back to the plate. Macy, right-hand batter. He's been in 2 previous All-Star games, hasn't hit in 2 times at bat. Vic Raschi takes the stretch, 1 away. Elliott leads off first. Here's your pitch. Curveball outside, ball 1. We started to say a moment ago that Frank Shea was credited with the American League victory last year, a member of the New York Yankees, and at the moment, Vic Raschi is in position to be credited with the victory representing the New York Yankees again this year. Simply a matter of rotation of pitchers and the situation of a ball game. Here's your delivery. Curveball is way outside. Bertie Tebbets blocked it beautifully to keep from being a wild pitch. And the count now on Phil Macy, a right-hand batter, 2 balls, no strikes. Ewell Blackwell of the Cincinnati Reds is throwing in the bullpen. Tommy Holmes of the Boston Braves is warming up out there. We'll see action shortly. Bob Elliott leads away from first base, 1 out. 5-2 favor the American League 6th inning. There's a pitch that's lined out into center field for a base hit. Taken on 1 hop by Hoot Evers. Holding up at second is Elliott as Evers fires that throw into third, cut off by Stevens at short. And the National League is beginning to stir here in the 6th inning as they come up with their 8th hit of the ball game. They've out-hit the American League now 8-4, but the American League leads by a score of 5-2, capitalizing on wildness in the 4th inning on the part of Johnny Schmitz, together with 3 solid base hits. Now Buddy Kerr steps up, batting in place of Pee Wee Reese, for whom he substituted at short. Buddy Kerr of the New York Giants, another right-hand hitter. Buddy Kerr's first appearance in an All-Star game. You've got Bob Elliott on second, Phil Macy on first. 1 out, 6th inning, 5-2 American League. And ominous clouds are looming back of center field. Here's the pitch. Inside and high, ball 1. In addition to Joe Coleman in the American League bullpen, you've got further activity. Bob Lemon is beginning to throw as Vic Raschi is showing a sign of weakening. 2 men on, 1 out, 6th inning, 5-2 American League, the National League threatening. Buddy Kerr up there, right-hand hitter, chokes his bat about 3 inches. Outfield step toward left. Your pitch is right over that inside corner. There's a throw down to second base, but it's knocked off by Vic Raschi at the mound as Bertie Tebbets bluffed the throw down there, but threw it right back to Raschi hard, and Bob Elliott went scooting back into second base as Bobby Dora had sneaked in behind him for a potential pickoff. All right, we're ready. Here's your pitch. Buddy Kerr swings and sends a dribbler down toward third. Kenny Keltner comes in, up with it, makes his play to first base to McQuinn in time for the out, with Elliott going to third and Macy to second. So Kerr is out. Keltner to McQuinn on a slow roll at the third. 2 down. Scheduled to hit is the pitcher, Johnny Sane. But certainly Leo DeRocher will now send up a pinch hitter. And it's beginning to get very dark out here at Sportsman's Park, ladies and gentlemen. We can see rain way off in the distance. And not too far off in the distance. The wind is blowing those clouds in this direction over the ballpark. And the wind's beginning to blow around. Put some weights on your papers, fellas. And we may have rain here in any moment, at any moment. But of course, it's already a full ball game. Gone 5 innings. We're going to have a pinch hitter for Johnny Sane. It's going to be Ed Waitkus of the Chicago Cubs, making his first appearance in an All-Star game, a left-hand hitter. Eddie Waitkus coming up, a left-hand batter with 2 men on, runners on second and third. Waitkus, a boy from Cambridge, Massachusetts. Elliott on third, Macy on second, and rain in the offing. Rain, rain, go away, come back another day. Here's the pitch. Waitkus takes outside and high, ball 1. So the American League is being disturbed by the National League at the moment, though the American League leads 5-2 top of the 6th, and everybody is being disturbed by the threat of rain. Now the pitch comes in to Waitkus. He takes outside. Ball 2. The wind is blowing in toward home plate. And it is definitely raining about a half a mile from here. We can see it. And it's moving this way. Let's hope it holds away. Vic Raschi looks in to get the sign from Bertie Tebbets. Elliott leads off third, Macy off second. 2 out, 6th inning, 5-2. Favor the American League. Raschi gets the sign. Pinch hitter Ed Waitkus up there at the plate, a left-hand batter. Here's the delivery. And curveball inside for ball 3, and the wind is blowing hard and blowing those rain clouds this way. And the fans are stirring in their seats. And they're beginning to move from the bleachers to shelter And the Sportsman's Park groundkeepers are getting ready to roll that tarpaulin. Vic Brashy into the windup. The 3-0 pitch to Waitkus. In there for a called strike. And what was a beautiful day up until this moment, or a couple of moments ago, is being turned into stormy weather on the banks of the Mississippi. 3 balls, 1 strike. Runners on second and third, 2 outs. Here's your pitch. Waitkus takes strike 2 call. A fastball that zipped over that outside corner above the knees. Now the pinch hitter steps out of the batter's box, rubs his hands together, moves back in hitting position. Elliott on third, Macy on second, 2 outs, 6th inning, 5-2 American League. Here's the payoff pitch. Eddie Waitkus swings and fouls it off to the left of the plate, out of play into the lower stands. And the count holds at 3-2. Richie Ashburn, leadoff man, is on deck. Oh, Mr. Rain, please don't come this way. Hold off for at least another hour or so. Now the payoff pitch. Waitkus takes high, ball 4 in the National League. Got him loaded. That is the first base on balls given up by Vic Brashy. And the second pass issued by American League pitchers. Masterson walked 1 in his 3 innings. You got Elliott on third, Macy on second. Eddie Waitkus on first base, 2 outs, 6th inning, 5-2 American League. And here's Richie Ashburn, who's had 2 out of 3, 2 singles, fly to left in his other appearance. And the pitch, Ashburn takes strike call, a fastball poured over there, letter high. Vic Brashy in a bit of a jam, goes to the rosin bag, gives a little touch. Activity in both bullpens. Lemon and Coleman warming up in the American League bullpen. Blackwell for the National League. Bases loaded. Rain is on its way. The pitch. High outside. Almost a wild pitch. Bertie Tebbets had to go far off to his left, reach way over his head to keep that one from being a wild pitch. Bertie calls time and walks out toward the mound to try and settle Vic Brashy down. The William and Mary boy, who was born in West Springfield, Massachusetts, now lives at Conesus Lake, New York. Often referred to as the Springfield Rifle. On the mound with a count. 1 ball, 1 strike, 2 outs, bases loaded. Top of the 6th inning, American League leading 5-2, with the National League having the bases loaded and 2 down. And the pitch. Swung on and fouled back to the screen, strike 2. The wind is blowing at a terrific clip over toward left field. And blowing in toward the plate now as it quarters around. Elliott on third, Macy on second, Waitkus on first, 2 outs, 6th inning. 1 ball, 2 strikes, 2 outs. Richie Ashburn, the batter, left-hand hitter. Vic Brashy into the windup. Here's the pitch. And it's in there for called strike 3. Beautiful curveball. And Vic Brashy pitches himself out of the jam. So for the National League, no runs, 2 hits, no American League errors, and 3 big men left on for the National League. And the score at the end of 5 1/2 innings remains the American League 5, the National League 2. When I say he won 511 games during his pitching career, you know I'm talking about the all-time no-hit king. Yes, and when I tell you it has the sharpest edges ever honed, today's Gillette Blue Blade pops into your mind. Men, this blade fits your Gillette razor exactly. Its edges line up absolutely parallel and extend precisely the right distance. You avoid the irritation and discomfort caused by misfit blades and faulty shaving methods. For extra convenience, at no extra cost, buy Gillette Blue Blades and the handy Gillette dispenser. This contains 20 blades with 40 shaving edges. You deal them out one at a time, unwrapped, ready for any Gillette razor. Also, you pay only 98 cents, price of the blades alone. Look sharp, feel sharp, be sharp. Use Gillette Blue Blades with the sharpest edges ever honed. Coming in to do the pitching now for the National League and causing oohs and ahs as he fires that ball into the plate in his warm-up pitches is Ewell Blackwell, sensational right-hander of the Cincinnati Reds. The buggy whip. Tommy Holmes has gone into right field, replacing the Slaughter. Holmes of the Boston Braves. Ashburn is still in center. Stan Musial still in left. Bob Elliott at third, Buddy Kerr short, Red Shane Dean second, Johnny Mize first. Shane Dean and Mize have been in there ever since the game started. Phil Macy doing the catching, and Ewell Blackwell coming on to do the pitching. As we go into the last half of the 6th inning, Johnny Sane Came into the fourth inning with one out, worked the fifth. So he worked 1 2/3 innings. Kenny Keltner leads off for the American League, last half of the sixth inning, right-hand batter. The first pitch is high, ball 1. Keltner walked in the second inning and singled to left in the fourth. It's thundering in the distance out back of right field. 5-2 American League, last half of the sixth inning. Ewell Blackwell sidearms him. It swung on and lined out to right field viciously. Going back is Holmes. He makes the catch knee-high as the ball sank on him as he went back on it. And there's one away for the American League in the last half of the sixth. Coming up now is George McQuinn, who's been in there at first base throughout the contest. McQuinn flied to center and singled to center in his 2 previous appearances. Ewell Blackwell on the hill, appearing in his 3rd All-Star game, throws a curveball that swung on, looped over the head of Buddy Kerr out into short left center, and it dropped in there for a base hit in front of Stan Musial, who gave it a good try. And McQuinn is on with his second hit in succession. A bloop single to left center. And for George McQuinn, it's his 3rd All-Star game hit. He had 1 out of 8 until the start of today's All-Star Classic. This being McQuinn's 3rd appearance in one of these Midsummer Dream games. That's the 5th American League hit of the afternoon. The first off Blackwell, and here's Bertie Tebbetts, peppery backstop for the Boston Red Sox, a right-hand hitter who replaced Buddy Rozar back of the plate. There goes McQuinn, hit and runs on. The pitch is swung on and missed. The throw down to Curry, puts the tag on McQuinn, and he's out. And then the decision is changed by Bill Stewart, and he says he's safe. And Buddy Kerr is arguing with Bill Stewart, the first disturbance of that kind in the ball game. Buddy Kerr can't contain himself as he goes after Bill Stewart, and Bill Stewart keeps walking away from him. And the New York Giants fighting shortstop is right after the diminutive umpire. Evidently, Buddy Kerr must have missed the tag. And Buddy is still arguing with Bill Stewart. It's scored as a stolen base. The hit and run was on. The pitch was way outside. I don't think it was a pitch out. Tebbett swung at the ball anyway. The throw down was in time, but somehow or other McQuinn got around the tag to stolen base. The count on Tebbett is 1 strike. 1 away, last of the sixth inning. Blackwell has the stretch, sidearms the hitter, and it's way outside for a ball. 1-1. I'll tell you one thing. If I were a right-hand hitter, I'd hate to stand up there against that Blackwell. He's all arms and legs. I think Lou Smith, Cincinnati sports writer, described Blackwell appearing to a batter, when he delivers that ball to a batter, appearing to the batter as if it's a man falling down out of a clump of trees. The tall right-hander throws, curveballs outside, ball 2, 2-1, sidearm sinker specialist. Mixes it up with a good fastball, curve. 2 balls, 1 strike to count on Bertie Tebbetts. George McQuinn on second base, 1 out, last half of the sixth inning. The American League 5, the National League 2. Stan Musial homered in the first inning with 1 on to give the National League a temporary 2-0 lead. Now Ewell Blackwell delivers. Fastball swung on and missed. Tebbetts went all the way around. The count is 2-2. The outfield is playing Tebbetts just about straight away. Perhaps a step toward left and center and left, straight away and right. A lot of room in right center. Bob Elliott laying halfway back at third, about 4 feet off the line. Buddy Kerr normal short in the step. Red Schoendienst over near second. Johnny Mize about 10 feet off the first baseline and back. McQuinn leads away from second. Ewell Blackwell ready. The stretch. A look back at second. Here's the pitch to Tebbetts. He takes high for ball 3. So we have a full count on Bertie, 3-2. Beans Reardon umpiring back to the plate now. Joe Paparella at first base. Bill Stewart at second. Charlie Berry at third. Berry umpired back to the plate. The first 4.5 innings. Ready for that payoff pitch to Bertie Tebbetts. 1 down. McQuinn leads off second. Here it is. It swung on and blooped foul. Back of first. Johnny Mize digs after the ball, but he can't get it. It's out of play into the lower stands to the right of the National League dugout, which is located back of first base. And now just popping his head out of the American League dugout is one of the greatest ball players you've ever seen. He's been injured, and yet he appeared here in a uniform today. Ted Williams. He's got a bat in his hands, and Ted can't sit on a bench and be idle. He's got to be doing something. He's got a bat in his hands, and that's what he likes to have whenever he's around the ballpark. All right, Bertie Tebbetts awaiting that payoff pitch once again. Here it is. It's strike 3 call. A sidearm fastball on the outside corner, and Bertie Tebbetts gets mad at Beans Reardon. He got red in the face and hollered at Beans, and Beans took his mask off and went right back at Bertie, and they're standing there face to face at home plate. And now Bertie is leaving. And so the second disturbance between the players and the umpires. And I want you to know that proves that these two ball clubs are out for business. And Ted Williams is going to use that bat, ladies and gentlemen. He comes out of the dugout, and he's going to pinch hit. He's going to pinch hit for Vic Raschi. Bertie Tebbett strikes out, and Ted Williams, listen to the roar. Ted Williams, who pulled a rib cartilage a few days ago and hasn't been able to play for the Boston Red Sox, nevertheless has come on to St. Louis, is in a uniform, and is up there to pinch hit with McQuinn on second. Ewell Blackwell pitching, Ted Williams taking outside, ball one. And get the picture, one of the greatest right-hand pitchers in baseball, one of the greatest hitters in baseball, left or right, up there at the plate. In this instance, the left-hand hitter, Ted Williams, the kid. The stretch by Blackwell. Look back at second. Here's the pitch to Ted. Williams takes a curve inside. Ball two. And Ted would certainly love to be able to take his full cut. We watched him in batting practice. He wasn't taking that real Williams cut of the ball. But you know he's got so much power, he can take a half swing and send one over the wall. 2 balls, no strikes, the count on Williams. 2 outs. Last half of the 6th inning, 5-2 favor the American League. The outfield around toward right. Buddy Kerr's playing directly in back of second base as the shift is on. The stretch, the pitch. Williams accidentally fouls one off to the right of the plate, a slow curve. He tried to check his swing. He was ready to step into the pitch. He saw a slow curve coming up there, and he tried to check his swing, but the ball hit the handle of the bat and skittered foul off to the right of the plate. The National League version of the shift has Buddy Kerr, the shortstop, playing directly in back of second base. Most times the shortstop will play a normal second with your second baseman over toward first and your first baseman right on top of the first baseline. Shane Deans is well over toward first. Mize is on the line. Blackwell ready. Here's the delivery. Curveball is outside for ball 3. 3-1. Bob Elliott, the third baseman, is laying about 10-15 feet off the third baseline, halfway back. So it's a 3-1 count on Williams. He has a look at Chuck Dresden coaching at third for any sign that might be sent his way, and you can be sure that Bucky Harris says, go ahead, son, and hit it if you like it. So Blackwell is ready, the buggy whip. Here's a 3-1 pitch. Ted Williams takes high outside, ball 4, and Ted strolls. Some of the fans indicate their displeasure over Williams' inability to swing at one, but Ted takes a walk down to first base. And now, native St. Louisans applaud the appearance of one of their own St. Louis Brownies, Al Zarilla. And here is Hal Newhouser going down to run for Ted Williams. Hal Newhouser, great left-hand pitcher of the Detroit Tigers, makes his appearance in the ball game as a runner for Ted Williams. We're in the last half of the 6th inning, ladies and gentlemen, with a score. The American League 5, the National League 2. There are 2 outs. McQuinn's on second. Newhouser running for Williams is on first. The batter is Al Zarilla, left-hand hitter. Ewell Blackwell has the stretch, the pitch. Zarilla swings and sends a bounding ball out to Shane Deans. 2 hops. He's up with it over to Kerr for the force out on Newhouser. And that is all for the American League in the last half of the 6th. No runs. 1 hit. No errors, 2 men left on. And the score at the end of 6 innings, the American League 5, the National League 2. And right now, let's pause for station identification. This is the world's largest network, the Mutual Broadcasting System.